All right, guys, today is a good one. This is a really important session today. So, this is for anyone who struggles with being on camera just in general, even having photos taken of you, but especially for those of us who have businesses or are thinking about starting a business and we're being held back by that fear of having to go live or being on camera. It is super uncomfortable for a lot of us. I was one of them. So this session is going to give you 12 tactics to conquer that fear, overcome that so that you can show up the way you need to be able to offer your products to the world. Us being able to show up for our business is one of the most important things we do. We are the face of our business, and people buy from people. It's true that you can do faceless marketing, and there are people who are quite effective at it. It is more difficult though. It's more difficult to sell whatever it is you're offering without you being part of the offer. Because frankly, people are invested in you. It truly is your essence, your personality, and the way they connect with you that makes them feel heard, validated, and seen. So when you're offering a solution to someone, we are naturally wired as humans to connect with another human to help us solve whatever problem we have. I hope that makes sense. So, this is especially for anyone who I'll say is an introvert, or if you're very uncomfortable in front of people, the camera is actually going to be your friend. Here's why I say this. I am still as awkward as ever if you put me in front of a room of people and I have to stand up and speak, with everyone present. But being able to narrow it down to just one single person that I am talking to in that camera has made showing up on camera so easy. I can do this much better than I can talk to a group of people, even my friends, right? So if I have it could be a group of friends, and when they ask me, "Hey, Shauna, how's it going?" or "How's your business going?" I stammer and stutter. Whereas if I'm on camera, boom, I can hit it. So I am telling you, you can transform your business by being able to show up in as yourself in person on camera. That's why I wanted to offer this training today. So I hope you're going to get a lot out of it. So before we go, I want to let you know that you are going to be able to walk away with a template that I offer for being able to go live, and you'll understand more about how to use this. We'll talk about how to use this. You can also walk away with the 12. Wow, my printer needs some ink, guys. It's actually very colorful. You'll also walk away with the Introverts Guide to Being on Camera. That's the 12 steps. And you can have the equipment guide. I know, that's a lot of stuff. Um, so that's what we're going to cover today. And actually, here, let me show you what those are going to look like. I have them on my computer. That'll be much better. Much better. Let's share the entire screen. So here's what you're going to walk away with. This will be more helpful than what I just did. Um, you're going to be able to walk away with this is the I did a challenge last year or the year before. So this is the equipment that I use that I recommend. All of this is really very budget friendly. Okay. So this is what you can use to be able to show up. I'll kind of explain what they are, and then you can choose which ones you'd like. Then there are these two pieces of content. So this is what we're going to walk through today. And then you can also get this is a trust building template. I have different kinds of templates. This is how you can start building rapport with your prospective and ideal clients. So you can also have these. All right. And I will tell you how to get those at the end. So let's stop sharing and get back. All right. So once again, let's reemphasize why we want to be able to go live. We want to be able to show up on camera because this is how we build rapport. This is how we build the know, like, trust factor with our potential customers. They need to know who we are and know that they can trust us and that we truly do have their best interest at heart. And that's so much easier when you can actually talk to someone versus just send them emails and PDFs, right? Even if you're going to use emails, I use email campaigns, but having videos in the emails, super powerful. And, everyone likes to see things visually. We are wired to light up when we connect with something visual. So when we're seeing things, there are 22 more neural pathways that connect from our eyes to the way our brain processes. So that is a lot bigger impact. It's more memorable when people can see you, when they have a visual. So that's why we're covering this today. All right, let's dig in. And, the first one I want to talk about, and this is super important, sometimes we overlook this, is you have to flat out decide. You have to decide that you are going to do this, that you're going to conquer this fear, that you will make this happen. If you don't make the decision, it's never going to happen. If you're like, well, yeah, I'm going to try it, you can't do that. You have to commit. You have to go, yes, I am going to keep doing this and keep practicing this because I know it's important to my business. I know that this is the best way to connect with my audience, and I am going to keep going until I get it right. Start with our mindset. You have to decide. Make that decision. I really want you to make that decision right here today, that you're going to do this, that this is going to be something that you can get behind to help your business. Okay, so let's do number 2. The easier ones here are at the top, right? I want you to create an outline. Yeah, actually create an outline. So we're going to plan ahead what we want to talk about. And that outline, it doesn't have to be word for word. It doesn't have to be scripted, although you can do that if you want. I'm going to say this though. When you actually write out a whole script, unless you're doing a 30-minute presentation, your people are going to connect with you if you're going to come across as much more authentic. If you're just talking like you would be talking to someone that's sitting on the couch next to you, that is so much easier for people to actually hear and register than when it's read off of a teleprompter. Now, if I am doing a big formal video, I'll use a teleprompter. And they're super easy. You can get them where they actually scroll on your phone. You can also get other devices, but teleprompters can save your bacon if you have a big, long thing that you want to say. Otherwise, I just want you to come up with 3 points that you plan to cover in your live, in your video. 3 things that you want to say. They can be all related under one topic, or they could be 3 different things. That doesn't matter. Just 3 points. It's easier if you have one topic and then 3 points underneath it. It's much more easier for people to digest information in little bitty nuggets than it is to give a boatload of information, honestly, like I'm doing here, right? It's much easier for you guys if this is all broken down one step at a time. Now, because of the way I'm doing this presentation, it's not prepared, it's not scripted, but I do have an outline of what it is I'm going to cover. And then you guys can pull this apart. And I repurpose my content. So that's part of why I do this. This content that I cover with you guys actually helps me produce content for all my other social media platforms. That's a whole nother topic, but that's part of what I want you guys to learn how to be able to do. If you come inside the Legacy Builder program, you get that. You get all the training on how to do that. So that really you're not spending all your time trying to get out there and market and promote. You can market and promote your whole business in only 2 hours a day when you learn the system that we teach you inside the Legacy. And 2 hours a day to be able to earn 6 figures, 7 figures plus. There are people who are earning more than 7 figures doing a 2-hour workday. Phenomenal, right? Okay, let's get back on track. All right, 3. I want you to visualize. I want you to visualize the success. Before you go live, before you actually do your video, I want you to take a moment to center yourself and visualize you doing this really well, right? What the response you're going to get, whether people are going to show up live or not, is a whole nother, this is another training. Whether people show up live for you or not is not significant at all. The value of your content is much more valuable and powerful post live than it is during your live, right? Because it's about the longevity of your content. It's about how long it lives there. It's there for anyone to discover across the globe anytime that's convenient for them. That is the power of our social media. So don't get all flustered about how many people are watching you at the moment you're broadcasting. Not important. So I want you to visualize that success, how good you feel while you're talking, how good you feel after you've gotten it done, right? The relief. Visualize it. That is another mindset tool. This is powerful with everything, but especially when it's something you're really fearful of or you're struggling with. If this is a challenge, this is going to be the first way you can conquer that. Okay. Plus, it's like practicing it, right? When you're visualizing it, you're practicing yourself going through it. So you know who uses the visualization tool more than anyone to huge success are all of our professional athletes, all of our Olympic athletes. They all spend a significant amount of time visualizing their success. Now, I have to go into my neuro mindset geekiness here. The reason why we want to spend time visualizing is because our brains, our moose, does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. Now, there's all kinds of research to back this up. I won't go into that, but literally all of the endorphins, all of the neurotransmitters, all of the hormones, all of the emotions, everything that you imagine is released and flows through your system exactly like if it was happening. If you were actually doing it versus actually imagining it, if you know how to use your imagination correctly, and this is something we kind of lose touch with, we lose touch we lose the power of our imagination. It's trained out of us as we go through the whole schooling process. Another one of my soapboxes I won't get on. Taking the time to visualize is really powerful in helping you achieve the results you want. It is not wasted time. So use it. Use it here when it comes to going live. Okay. Once again, this seems pretty logical, but a lot of times we forget when we're kind of scared and panicked about something. You need to practice. Okay, practice. What do I mean? That means write out your outline and actually practice it. The best way to practice it is to get your phone and turn on the camera and hit record, record it, watch it back. You'll see things. So one of the, here's, I'll tell you my story, right? So one of the things I noticed when I was first learning to go live is the fear in me was so real. Like my eyes, I always had my eyes super wide open and I blinked a lot, like blinked a lot, which is a natural defense, right? And once again, that's our wiring. So it took me a while to be able to conquer that. And it'll still show up every once in a while. I'll see it. I'm like, wow, I was really wound up. My eyes were really wide. But when you practice what you're going to say, it makes it so much easier because you don't have all of the adrenaline running through your system. It lowers your cortisol, lowers your anxiety so that you can be more relaxed. And that's true with anything, right? I mean, if you're going to, let's stick with the Olympics. If you're going to go to the championships, if you're Simone Biles and you're going to, how many times has she practiced that routine before she gets to the trials, Olympic trials or championships? Can you imagine? I don't even know the number of times they practice and rehearse. But why should we expect ourselves to be able to do something that we've never done before that we're scared of without practicing? That's unreasonable. So practice. And yeah, you want to give yourself a time limit. A lot of times that will help because otherwise you're just going to practice, 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 and you're going to end up stuck in one of the struggle buses that we talked about yesterday. If you're not familiar with the struggle buses, you can look at that video. I'll have that at the top in one of the cards. You can click on that. But if you get stuck in perfectionism, one of the ways to overcome that is to practice, but give yourself a time limit. So I'm going to practice this live before I go live for 15 minutes. And whatever I get to, and then I'm going live. Okay. I hope that's helpful. I still have to practice and go. Now, when I'm doing this kind of a training, no. But when I'm doing a really short, when I'm doing a reel or one of those things, a short video that you have to be really concise. You have 60 seconds, 90 seconds. You got to practice those to be able to fit what you want to say in during that small amount of time. All right. This is one of the most powerful ones. I do a whole training on this. This is a deep dive training. Of course, we're not going to be able to do that. But if you want to learn how to create a camera persona, if that is something you're interested in, reach out and you can put persona in the comments and I'll tell you more about how you can get that training. What is a camera persona? This is where you're actually tapping into another person's energy that you want to emulate. So think of someone who is really impressive to you when you see them on TV, on, a training, wherever it is you see them that's not the point. The point is, what do you feel like when you listen to them, when you connect with them, right? Let's think of some of the greatest motivational speakers of our time right now. And they all have different approaches. They all have different vibes and feels. Dean Graziosi, I can't, Dean Graziosi, I can't remember how to say his name, versus Tony Robbins, two totally different energies, still super powerful people, but very unique in their own way that they show up. So find someone that you really emotionally connect with and start pulling out things as to why that attracts you. And you need to look at it and go, okay, how can I tune into that? How can I pull that in and present that? So when you go on camera, you think of yourself as the person that is your role model out there. You use their energy to be able to project your message, to be able to get your message across. Now, like I said, there's a whole process in how we do that. That is a deep dive broken down, but you get the idea. So, generally, find someone that you love how they show up and pull pieces out of that and apply it. One of the people I really like, Marie Forleo, she's very professional. She's very, a lot of people would call her kind of slick. But the fact is, what I really love about her is she does these professional productions. Marie TV, you can actually, I don't know if she's doing any more episodes, but it was how she grew her coaching business. And, a lot of them are funny. She's really funny. I love that, but you'll connect with whoever you want to. So, okay. So that's number 5. Let's go to number 6. I'm probably going to run out of room on my board. And I want to start with yourself off camera. Okay. This is where I want you to start with a topic that you can talk about in content, in posts. So this takes a little bit more writing, but think about how you would talk about something that maybe an experience that you've just had, and write it out and create it as a piece of content that's out there before you go live to talk about it. Sometimes, especially if we're talking about something that's emotional, it helps to put it out there first in writing. I know sounds a little bit off of track, but once again, that's actually practicing walking through the emotions that you have as you're talking about maybe what's a loaded topic for you. I had to do this a lot, you know, right after my divorce. Of course, we all know anything like that is very emotional and very traumatic. And it was hard for me to even say the word without getting emotional. So being able to put that in writing helped me process through that, right? I think you can, I got to stop saying right. I think you can understand how that works. And I won't go into all the neuroscience behind that, but it's going to help you out. I know, too much neuroscience. Okay, I want you to, here's what, a lot of times this keeps us stuck. I want you to look good, but don't obsess. Here's what I don't want you to do, not on a regular basis. I don't want you to look like you just rolled out of bed and you're going live, unless there's a specific reason for it. Give an example of that, Shauna. A specific reason would be if, let's say, you were talking about, I'm going to show you my morning routine. This is my morning routine of how I get myself going in the morning. Obviously, when you first show up, right, and you're filming standing there in the mirror as you're brushing your teeth or washing your face, you're not going to look like you've been put together for the day because that's not the point of that video. But if you show up on a regular basis, looking tired, looking worn out, looking kind of unhappy or unkept, whatever word we want to use there, that's not going to help you attract your ideal customer because your ideal customer essentially wants to see themselves in you, and that's not how they want to be. Am I making sense here? This is a tough love topic because the opposite end of that is, and I tend to be the opposite end where I feel like everything has to be perfect. And today, for example, you know, I was running short on time because I wanted to prepare this for y'all, and I didn't get to put my jewelry on. So there, I'll just tell you, I really don't like showing up on camera without, my earrings, my necklace, my rings, my bracelets. I don't I don't know why. It's just kind of a security blanket for me. But the fact is, if I obsess about that, it's going to keep me from doing what I really need to do. And that is connect with you and connect with anyone that I can help. It keeps me from serving if I let that get in the way. So look good, but don't obsess. Yeah, you want to have your hair done, but do you have to have like, the beautiful blowout? Do you have to go and have a blowout done before you show up on camera? No, especially not for a live. Now, if you're filming like a professional course and, it's going to be around forever, you might consider that. But we're talking about connecting with people just as everyday people. We want to look like that. And we want to look like our best version, the best version of ourselves, but be realistic. Okay. Yeah, I know. I went heavy on that. Talking to myself. Talking to myself. Okay. Number 8. We want to, how do I want to say this? Okay, so we'll just put use a photo. So one of the things I did when I first started here was I actually printed out a photo and cut it out and taped it right behind the camera lens. So when I looked at the camera lens, I was actually looking at my kids. And then that didn't work because it was more than one person. I had to actually cut it out to one person. So when I am talking to you, I am talking just to you. And in order for me to be able to get used to the camera lens being you, I had to have a person that I could see, quote, attached to the camera. So then when you're talking, you're talking to that person. So I want you to think about if that would be helpful to you, do that. I don't use it anymore, but a lot of my clients still do. They just feel more comfortable like that. Okay? So use a photo next to the camera because you really just want to be talking to one person anyway. So that's actually super helpful. Okay, so I want you to use an energy booster. What do I mean? This is part of my training where I talk about the power of state. Let me finish writing this. An energy booster. Okay, so a perfect example of this is, shoot, is it Jimmy Fallon? I can't remember who was the redhead guy who did the late night? Oh, I can't remember. It was Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien, David Letterman, Jimmy Fallon, Jay Leno. They're perfect examples. They're the ones that kind of actually let us in behind the scenes to know this secret. They all use an energy booster before they go on stage. Some of them jump and down, up and down. Some of them like shake it all out. They all have a different routine that happens every single time before they walk out on stage. That's what we can do for ourselves to make sure that we are at our peak state of energy before we go out on camera, because that comes through to your people out there. It matters. You want to make sure that you are in a peak state of energy. Um, Tony Robbins has a mini trampoline behind the stage, and he jumps on that. And then he has a couple, he does his move, right? Do your move. He's like, do your move. He does his move before he bounces out there on stage. I want you to figure out what makes you feel powerful, what makes you feel at the most positive, energetic state. And that's what I want you to do right before you go on camera. Now, it could be the opposite. Maybe you feel like you're too wound up and you need to breathe. You need to calm yourself down. You may need to close your eyes and breathe, right? And get some calm if you feel like you got too many butterflies or too much nervous energy. But whatever that is, I want you to use that every single time. It's going to make a huge difference. And this just isn't for, if you're an introvert. This is for everyone. Everyone should be doing this. So my studio mate, because I was a professional artist, and one of the things I loved about being a professional artist, I'm really not, I'm kind of an ambivert. I don't like to be alone all the time. And as an artist, 24/7, it's a 24/7 loner job. So one of the things that I loved was I was able to find another artist that I connected with, and we shared a studio together. So we would take turns, going live. Obviously, we couldn't both be live in the same space at the same time. But my studio mate, she did jumping jacks before she went live. She really got her energy up, did some jumping jacks, and then went live. That was how she went live. I know another person who, they basically center themselves and they say a prayer before they go live. Whatever works for you is what you do, is my point. This is significant. If you don't do any of the others, do this. Do that, okay? Number 10. We're getting down here. Number 10. I probably will have to erase these. We're going to call it fake it till you make it. Okay, why am I saying that? Shoot, I can't remember the researcher. Amy Cuddy. Amy Cuddy she's a sociologist, and one of the things that she actually did research on was you can fake it, literally fake it. And eventually, this is part of our neuroscience and the wiring. We start building new neural pathways to where we actually become that. Oh gosh, I'm not going to be able to think of who the actor was. Oh, that totally bothers me. I'll think of it later. But he was famous for saying, Cary Grant, that's the actor. He was famous for saying, I did it so long that I loved who I was as, quote, Cary Grant. And eventually I actually became him. because he represented all the goodness and all the things I wanted to be. And I did it so long that those actually became, those characteristics and qualities became part of me. That's a case of faking it till you make it. So if you are going on camera, you just go out there as who you want to be. And eventually that will become, it will become integrated with you. You will become aligned with it to where it feels completely natural. And I can attest to this. It's true. It's very true. This is how I show up live. When I first started doing this, no, no, did not feel it. I did it, but I didn't feel it. Now I feel it because I love going live. It energizes me. Now, it's okay if it's not your thing and it doesn't energize you, then you don't need to do it that often, but you still need to show up as often as you can. And this whole training is about building a practice, a going live practice that does energize you, that does fulfill you, that isn't an energy vampire. We don't want our going live and showing up for people to suck that energy away from us. If you're an introvert, being on camera is actually the best way to connect with your people and conserve and preserve your energy levels because you get to do it on your terms. You are completely in control of the environment. You don't have any other variables. You're not having to engage with 10 or 15 people. For an introvert, being with a lot of people takes away their energy, right? It's their tank goes empty. For more of an extrovert, your tank gets full and you have more fuel. So if you are an introvert, going live is actually your biggest advantage in being successful in your business, sharing your message, and marketing and promoting. Introverts, the camera is your friend. The camera is your best friend. It is one of the most powerful tools that you can learn to utilize to help you grow your business. Okay. And I'm gonna, once again, I'm saying that because I've experienced it and my clients have experienced it. It's not a preaching thing. You need to, but I want you to consider it. Be open to it. All right. This goes with we're going to call it practice makes perfect. What do I mean by that? It's not just practice what you want to say before you go live. Practice makes perfect means you need to do it consistently before you're going to be comfortable with it. You can't expect to do something once or twice and have it nailed. Oh, we'll go back to Simone Biles. She didn't just do that once or twice and then, every single time she shows up, she feels completely safe, comfortable, and rocks that performance. She had to do competition several times before she could get to the level of going to an Olympic trials or Olympics. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get. Practice makes perfect. So go live as often as you can. Get on camera as often as you can. So here's the other part of that I think is so funny is, you know, one of the wonderful things about learning to go live is when you first start and you're not very good, that's okay because you're not going to have a very big audience. So that was one of the things that held me back. Well, I don't want everyone to see, if I mess up or if I'm bad or blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? It didn't even matter. Those were completely unfounded fears because no one was there. And besides that, you can delete it if you don't like it. If you really don't like it, you can delete it. So that you have nothing to lose by going live. You just have everything to gain. Everything to gain. Okay, and last but not least, we will put this in here. Once again, we want to go back to our mindset is the foundation to our success. So if you, hopefully you can't hear my dog. I want you to go through, Gigi, hush. I want you to go through and figure out what you need to do. What do you need to get rid of? What paradigms are holding you back from getting where you are comfortable on camera, from showing up? You need to identify the negative self-talk that runs through your head that's keeping you from having the success that you deserve. And that can apply everywhere, not just to going live. What's going on what's really holding you back? Right? Where is that fear coming from? What do you really need to conquer? And then I want you to write some affirmations. And I call it write it, read it, post it. I want you to really put these out there, and I want you to read it to yourself consistently. Put it on your mirror. I actually have one in here for you, so I'll read this one. I'm going to rock Facebook Lives and connect with my tribe. My audience loves it when I show up and share my content with them. Those are just a couple of examples of affirmations that you can write, read, and visualize it. So before we wrap it up, I also want you to think about this. You do not need to hide the fact that you are nervous or scared of being on camera. Some of the best content out there is when people are authentic with their audience, meaning, okay, you guys, this is the first time I'm going live. I am really nervous. I don't know if I'm going to get my tech right. Hang in there with me while we figure this out. But I'm so excited to be here with you today because I have something great to share with you today. So ignore all the nervousness, whatever. Tell your people, you don't have to hide it. You don't have to hide it. Just put it out there and be real. Because this is how you connect with the people that are meant to connect with you. That's going to stop the scroll, that honesty, that vulnerability. People need to see real people, and we're real people. So get out there and do it. All right, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to tell you, here's what I need you to put if you would like these. If you would like these PDFs, this content, then here's what I need. You can put guide in the comments. If you put guide in the comments, you're going to get the Introverts Guide to Being on Camera, which is the 12 steps that we just walked through, and you will get the video equipment guide. I can do a video equipment walkthrough on another training. I won't attach it onto this because it'll be a little bit long. And if you would like the live template, it's the template that you can, I'm sorry, I don't have a good copy, but you can print this out and write down and have it beside your camera what you're going to talk about. It gives you everything you need to make sure that you have everything covered when you go live. Then put template. So guide and template. And then I'm going to send you a link, right? So that you can get on my email list and that'll be delivered to you in an email. All right, guys, thank you for being here. I hope this was helpful. And if you if you love this content, please like and subscribe, share. Anything you can do is going to help me build this channel, and that way I can be here for you and help as many people as possible. If you know anyone that can use this, please share this with them. All right, and I will see you soon. Take care.